Okay, in this video we shall go through the Business Central extension that GCC have written to do charity reporting and gift aid. I'm going to assume that you've watched the main video on our website for the seminar on Business Central, so you understand what Business Central is and how it fits into the Microsoft stack, and I'll just concentrate on what this extension does. So part of the extension I'll be showing will be to do with the financial reporting, so we can do the statement of financial activities and a funds report and financial reports and how that fits together with how you put your data in and how you can report back out, and also a gift aid extension tracker for any gift aids that are made so you can report out there too. So starting with putting some transactions on, if we go into a customer record, here we are in a customer record, so we've extended the screen out to add in a few more details to collect information for the gift aid declaration, names and initials, whether the declaration has been signed, when it was signed, and there's a bit of validation around this, so an address must be in before we can declare that this has been received. And also here we have default fund that this donor might be linked to, and potentially default SOFA codes. It's entirely up to you whether you preset these items on these customers, whether these items are blank, whether they are advisory, or whether they are mandatory. It's completely up to you. You can create as many fund codes as you wish. You can create as many SOFA codes as you wish. Call them what you want. Doesn't necessarily have to be the number. Can be the description. The next step is to show you a transaction. So if we come up into new document and create new sales invoice for a donation, it has to be a sales invoice, so it comes through to the financial areas of Business Central. This line item can either be stock item or GL item or comment, so just the same normal functionality of Business Central. I'm just going to post this directly through into a GL code. Notice there's our fund code and there's our SOFA code, so this is where you would select these items. Again, depending on the combination of how you set these up on customers or vendors or GL codes, these can either be locked down, so it has to be these codes for this particular GL code, or they can be advisory. You'll see in a moment when I go to post this, this code is actually locked down, so the SOFA code has to be a specific SOFA code for this GL code. It also has to be a specific fund code, but it is that fund code. So you'll see what it's like when I try to post a transaction that is actually blocked by my setup. So I'm just coming into here. Notice these are only just a couple of the dimensions. You can have as many other analysis dimensions in Business Central as you wish. There's a few here. You can rearrange the screen so they could all be together. Just examples of the fact that I could put this through to a specific department, specific code, and again these could be tied to geocodes as well if you wish to, and whatever you need to analyze out your results at the end. Basically this is where the information goes in. This screen is exactly the same on the purchase invoice side, so what I'm showing you here applies over there too. So if I go to process this, note that I will get that error message because it's expecting a specific dimension code. So there we go. Dimension code, it should be 1 for that particular general ledger code. So I can either recode this to the correct general ledger because I got it wrong, or I just got my SOFA code wrong, in which case we can lock that out, or it could have been my fund code, or it could have been my department code. However you've configured the system, it will stop you posting erroneous transactions. So if I post that through now with the correction, there we go. So that is now posted through. Notice that my balance has not gone up because it's automatically posted a receipt against that donation as well, and there's my donation. So this moves on to how we report on these gift aid declarations. Notice we've had some gift aid done before, but we've had some declarations. They've appeared on declarations. So it's a little bit like how to do a VAT return, that the transactions will be open until they've been put on a gift aid declaration. So if we come through into process and close the transactions off, so we give this whatever reference we want to give that gift aid report, so we can refer back to it in future if we need to. So I'm just going to post this up for February. I'm going to do it across all customers. I'm going to do it through whatever date range I want, so it doesn't have to be February. I could, again, like the VAT report, I could hoover up any gift aid transactions that I may have missed in the past. But I'm just going to do it for this period and post that through and select OK, and that will post through. Now we have our transaction marked as being on that gift aid declaration, and now we just need to run that gift aid declaration, and we can run that at any time or rerun it. Into print gift aid, enter our reference in, whatever posting date we had, and we can print that. And there we go, we have our declaration and the declaration from another customer, and that would list those out, and we can reprint that at any time. So that's the gift aid element of the report, and now into the financial reporting. So here we can go into finance, into our accounting schedule. So these are our financial statements. We can have as many of these as we wish. Here's our SOFA one down here, where we can come in and process and get our overview of that. So we have our SOFA reporting codes down the side here, and our funds across the top as rows. These codes and row names can be anything that you wish. Same for the columns across the top. You can have as many of these as you wish. We can narrow down to particular dates, particular periods of information here. We could look at individual funds and filters if we need to, but those other dimension codes we had, like department, we can narrow down, look at an individual department, or we can narrow down and or look at individual projects, or whatever dimension codes we'd had tagged to our transactions. There we go as well. So that's those filtering down. Not just the SOFA reports, we can change this over and take a look at just a normal income statement. There we go, there's our income statement, a net change down the side here. We can adjust these out to look for prior years as well if we need to. We can span across years, there's no sort of hard year end in here. We can do whatever we need to do there. We'll look at a period by period basis if we wish to, if we're looking at individual months. So if we narrow that down to a month, let's say, we'll look at the last month of the year, we'll change that through to a period by period basis. And there we've got several months on go, or we could change that around and look at departments as well if we need to. We could also do that on the SOFA report as well. So that's a SOFA report by individual departments as well as funds. So that's SOFA by department, or narrowed down again by individual filters there. So as long as you are recording the dimension codes onto the transactions, then you should be able to report pretty much in any individual direction that you wish to report on in these financial statements. And finally, because it's usually budgets are very paramount in your mind, if we come back to income reporting here, we can do the net change, we can do that versus budget as well if we need to. We can decide what type of which budget we want to look at, so we can create as many budgets as we need within the system, so we can narrow that down to an individual budget. Or we could sort of have that on a departmental level of departments versus their own budgets and variance codes. And again, you get the idea. So sort of whatever information we're putting in here, we'll be able to turn this matrix around and report on that information in quite an easy fashion. Bit of a whirlwind tour through the addition there, but obviously you can share this recording with your colleagues as well, and if you want to take it any further, then there's the contact information for us. Thank you for watching.